Aaron, if I was able to show you how $1 million was slipping through your fingers unknowingly and unnecessarily, how much of that would you want back?
100% of it.
Okay. Um, so as we walk through this exercise, it'll help you see where and how money is just simply slipping through your fingers that you might not have been aware of. Aaron, how old are you today?
34.
34. All right. And most people are wanting to sail off into the sunset at 65 is the standard retirement age. Are you in that same boat?
Yeah, I think 65 is a respectable age.
Okay. And you work in fraud department, which is
Mhm.
pretty cool. We like people that protect us. So, Aaron, what is your current household income?
Household income is I'll round it 150,000 a year.
150. Okay. And most of the time, we see income go up year over year. And as we look at government data and statistics, it tells us that incomes increase by about 6.9% each year. Do you want to use those numbers or would you like to look at something a bit more conservative? Where do you think you'll fall on that line over the next 31 years?
Probably on the conservative side.
Okay. A lot of times people say, let's run with 4%. How do you feel about that?
Four. We can roll with four.
Roll 4. Okay. So that what that means is this year you'll make about 150, next year 156, and it just compounds and grows from there over the next 31 years. And that means you're going to see about $8.9 million pass through your hands throughout your career. Now, unfortunately, we're not able to capture and save all of that. We get to live in the real world and we have expenses.
Mhm.
Now, data shows that as Americans, we are horrible at saving money. And the average savings rate is only at about 4%. Where do you think you fall on that scale?
Below 4% for sure.
Below 4%? Okay. So, where how much do you think you are saving? Just as a guess as we start off.
I guess probably two.
About
Probably
2? Okay. So that means of that 150, you're going to wind up spending about 170,000 of that this year. Okay. And what we see is spending walking in lockstep with income. So if your income goes up 4%, so does your spending on an annual basis. So this year, whoops, that was the wrong button that I wanted to hit that quickly. We're going to go back and hit that. Here we are. So this year you'll spend about 147, next year closer to 153, and it just compounds as we go through the process. And leaving you 32, 31 years from now, having captured only 100 and about $178,000.
Wow.
How do you feel about that number? Is that going to be enough when you want to sail off into the sunset?
I mean, that'd be a nice year, but that's
It'd
about
be a
it.
nice year. So your retirement plan is for 1 year
Yeah.
at
That
this point. At this point, okay. Now, Aaron, should we take that money and stick it under the mattress, or should we go put it to work?
I think we should put it to work.
All right. What sort of a rate of return do you think we could get year over year for the next 31 years?
I don't know the number, but as high as possible would be my answer.
As high as possible? Okay. A lot of times when we're looking at net of fees and market volatility and everything else, we're right about 6% year over year over year. How do you feel about that number?
6% is pretty good. I mean, it's better than four.
Okay. It is indeed. All right. So how much of an impact do you think that'll have on your 178,000?
I'm pretty sure a significant impact.
Throw in a number. What do you think we're going to end up at?
I mean, 4% put us at a little over 8 million. So I don't know, 10, 10, 11.
Your account's going to wind up at 431,000.
That was gross.
Is that going to be enough for you?
That'll be a nice 3.5 years.
Nice 3.5 years. Okay. Um, what if I could wave a magic wand and I could get you 12% without increasing any additional risk? How big do you think it'll grow that 431,000 for you? How much more do you think you'll have?
Well, I mean, we just did 6%. So realistically, net probably about another 400,000.
Another 400? Okay. Close.
Close.
You're at 1.2 million now. So um, we almost 3x'd that growth, which was good. We're headed in the right direction. But would that be enough for you?
No. I mean,
Okay.
once upon a time, yes, but not now.
Okay. All right. So there's another way we can affect the growth and the end result of this account, and that is if we put together a an intentional cash flow structure that prioritizes your financial freedom and the goals that you have moving forward. And what we do is we just constrain a little bit of that consumption year over year. So instead of when you get the annual increase of 4% and spending all of it, maybe we capture half of that, or some other number that feels comfortable for you, that you believe you would be able to do if you had a structured cash flow system that would automate the process for you. So Aaron, what do you think would be comfortable each year in putting some restraint on the additional spending? If your income went up by 4%,
So basically, like the cutting expenses on my side, then? Like,
not cutting expenses, reducing how much the additional spending went up each year.
hmm,
So instead of next year spending the 152, almost 153,000, we put a little restraint in there and maybe you ended up spending 150, sort of a deal.
yeah, I think we could even go a little bit further, probably even down to 130,
Okay.
like
All
on the
right.
spending side.
Okay. So almost even cutting some of today's spending, and then putting some constraint moving forward.
Hmm.
Is that it? Okay.
Yep.
Um, so for the example that we're looking at, most of my clients, they look at it and they say, you know what, I'm going to only spend half of each year's increase of income. So instead of expenses going up by 4%, they have them going up only by 2%.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, before I click on uh, the save button here, when we chased 12%, we got to 1.2 million. Where do you think we'll get to by utilizing a cash flow structure?
I couldn't even venture a guess.
Just take a wild number out of the air.
Wild number, 2%. I don't even know, a couple 100,000.
Okay. All right. So you think we're going to add a couple 100,000 to where the end result was previously of the 1.2. So around 1.4 ish.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Close. 5 million.
well, not even close.
Okay. So without chasing greater rates of return, by just putting a automated cash flow structure in place that helps prioritize where you put your spending, we wind up at just over $5 million. Now, in the beginning, I asked if I helped you find $1 million. that was slipping through your fingers, how much of it would you want back? You said all of it. Well, in this case now we're at about $4 million. How much of that would you like back?
All of it.
All right.
I don't want to leave money on the table.
Okay. So if we were to work together, where would you first want to focus? Rate of return or a cash flow structure?
Cash flow structure.
All right. Let's dive in.